Welcome to Brightly, You Radiant Aim, the show that wildly recognizes, encourages, and invests in the radiance we all carry so you can shine your brightest. We're just a couple curious people interested in friendship, ideas, and personal development. This is a show that strives to speak to the curious, to those who long to explore new ways of thinking, reflecting, and being. Through sharing our experiences, friendship, and interests, we hope to impact you to step more brightly into yourself, inch by inch.
Love it. Yay.
Hi.
How are you doing, my friend?
I'm feeling all bright and shiny. How are you doing?
Pretty good.
Yeah?
Pretty good. Pretty
Anything
good today.
good today? No, not good yesterday.
I gotta tell you, this full moon. So obviously when the listeners are hearing this, it'll be
June 7th.
Yeah, it'll be June 7th. So
when this goes live, you might be listening to it in 2022. I don't know your life. Thank you for being
Thanks
here.
for clarifying that, Tracy.
But this will post
right now,
2021
for this time capsule. This last full moon, I was really excited about it because it was a Sagittarius full flower blood moon eclipse, and I'm a Sagittarius.
Sounded like a Power Ranger.
Yeah, exactly. Like I am like, sometimes I act like a Power Ranger, a Sagittarius Power Ranger.
Happiness warrior.
Exactly. So I was super excited about it, even though I kept hearing all these things, eclipse. But I was still excited about it. But the day before it was almost like I was just like, the battery was starting to go dead. And then the day of it, it was like, I just like sat there and I didn't do anything. I didn't do anything for the full moon. I mean, I meditated, I went out and walked, I thought about it, but it's not like I did anything.
Second time this evening, one of us has said, I didn't do anything, and then listed off at least 3 things we did.
Yeah, you're right. Okay.
Past Amy for doing 3 things I didn't even do today.
Okay, thank you for that. And then during the night, so the eclipse actually happened in the morning, and then all day it was almost like I was modeling or something. It was really weird. And then that night, I woke up so many times, and like 3:20, I was just like, what is happening? Yes, exactly.
That's exactly the witching hour for people who don't know. I wasn't insulting.
Between 3. Yeah, she wasn't just calling me a witch. Substitute W for B. No, it's between 3 a.m. and 4 a.m. Right? That's I don't know. That's what my mom used to tell me. But 3:20, and I was just like, what?
The moon is known for affecting sleep schedules. It really is. I mean, funny you bring up the moon today. Did you know we were going to talk about the new moon?
Yeah.
Spoiler for anybody who doesn't read the title, the descriptions, or any of the social media and just comes in completely unknowing and trying to figure out what we're talking about. Allow me to let you know, we're talking about the moon today. La Luna.
La Bella Luna.
La Bella Luna. Specifically, Luna Nueva.
Yes.
Moon. But yeah, so going back to your story, so the super blood full flower moon eclipse was on May 6th, right? And as you said, it was in the morning. But full moons are known for causing insomnia or affecting sleep schedules of everybody because there's so much more light in the sky. Yeah. Even plants outside respond to that, right?
I did not know that. And I feel like it's not even the light so much. I feel like it's just like my vibration. Yeah. That's what I feel like.
Because when the moon is full, when all that light is reflecting and it's full, you're being filled, right? You're being filled up. Your vessel's also full. And that's why it's a great time for build up and release, especially with those eclipses. Is this past May 26th one was all about like, I release that which no longer serves me like tenfold. Yeah. But on the flip side, the new moon is empty, right? There's no light, and it's kind of like a fresh new start.
I love it. A clean slate.
Slate. So before we kind of dive in specifically to the new moon, Over the summer, we're going to do a couple of moon themed episodes just to help you live more cyclically with the moon. We covered in our cycles episode a little bit on the moon. Um, and we're just going to dive in really deep into the new moon
Yeah.
because like I said, this will go live on June 7th. Our next new moon will be on June 10th in
Mm-hmm.
Gemini.
Mm-hmm.
Um, but for the moon, to kind of know where you are and how it can affect your energy, like you were saying, like you just had all this excess energy. So you kind of go by how much you follow the light, So are we getting more light or are we losing light? So after we have a full moon, we slowly start to lose light,
Yeah.
lose energy until we
Yes.
have no light. And then after a new moon, we start to fill back up again. Our cup starts to fill
Mm-hmm.
back up.
Mm-hmm.
So,
So basically, with the full moon, you're releasing, and as you continue to lose the light, you continue to like release these things.
yes. So, are you going in or are you casting out? Kind of energy wise
Ooh,
is a way
I
to
like
kind of
that.
think about
Yeah.
it.
Yeah.
So, we'll come back to the new moon, but just to start with the new moon, it's about optimism, hope and faith, positive changes, new endeavors, unlimited possibilities, new relationships. It's a really good time for manifesting because you're empty, right? And you're going to fill up with your
Yeah.
intentions and you're going to send them out into the unit. You're going to plant them and you're going to send them out, which I know doesn't make sense, but you put them in the ground and you're going
Things
to.
are different with the moon. All right, everyone. Things are just different with the moon. So I have a question right away, and
Yeah.
sorry to just throw this at you. Does it matter because we are now in eclipse season? Do things change with a new moon during eclipse season or not so much?
It depends on where the eclipse is falling. But yeah, when you're in eclipse seasons,
Okay.
everything's a little bit different. When you're in retrograde seasons, everything's a little bit different.
Oh, and
So,
we're in retrograde.
well, starting
Will
on,
we
yep.
be, so it's May 29th and it's 2 weeks?
When are we ever not in a ret?
No, I guess I was thinking the main, like, I think that
So for Mercury
whenever,
retrograde,
yeah,
we will be
Mercury.
in it's for at least 3 weeks, I want to say, but then you
Yeah,
also have the shadow periods before and after, and
yeah.
um but yeah, so you kind of have to look, if you follow the astrology, if you follow the cosmos, you have to look at the bigger picture, right? Especially if you feel like you're sensitive to these energies, or if you have really specific things you want to let go and bring in, you can work with all the energies together just to help better serve you.
Listen, I love on the full moons but not this last full moon because it just took everything out of me. I love to let go, to
Mm.
release, to literally burn things and release them. It's one of my favorite things to do.
Yeah. Well, and so maybe I should have started with this. So follow your own inner compass, right? If
There
you're
you go.
feeling
Yep.
called to release, or if
Hmm.
you find that burning things every day of the month serves you, do it.
Sometimes, yeah, yeah, yeah.
So part of this living cyclically and trying to live with the cycles of the moon, it's gonna charge up your energy or whatever you're doing even more. But you're not necessarily working against things if you're following your own cycle, your own rhythm, your own timing too. Like as with everything I say in here, just what resonates, do it.
Yeah, absolutely.
But I want to say, try living with a full cycle of the moon at least once in a year and see what happens. Some uh
And Tracy,
menstruating
this
what
the cycle, oh, I'm sorry. The cycle begins with the new moon.
hmm
Yes. Okay.
yeah.
Just wanted to let
Yeah.
everyone know that.
And then also like each of these very specific cycles or phases of the moon, I should say, all these different phases of the moon I'm going to go through. It's kind of like the day it falls on, but then you kind of have that shadow period where it can
Yeah.
start the day before or the day
Yeah.
after. So you kind of have 3 days to work with it. But also if you completely miss it and you're feeling called to plant your intentions and you don't know where the moon's at, just plant your intention. Like, the universe, like time is a social construct the universe doesn't abide by. The moon will forgive you. Like it's still there. It's just what side the sun is shining on it, right? But
Mhm.
yeah. So and then also for these phases of the moon, some bodies that menstruate follow the cycles very clearly, and they're different
Yeah. Yeah.
a whole nother episode, but I know I physically feel it in my body. It's not just about the energies that I feel, but I could probably tell you what the cycle of the moon is in for the two major, whether we're approaching a new moon or a full moon, just by how
Mhm.
my body feels. But yeah, so
Yeah.
we start the cycle starts with the phase of the new moon. And then as we slowly start to get more and more light, it goes into a waxing crescent. So it's a good time to grow, learn, it's fresher energy. First quarter moon. So again, you have a little bit more light. So there's momentum to everything that you planted and everything that you started trying to learn and trying to do. It's about action, pushing forward. Then you have the waxing gibbous, which is just going to be patient, like you planted your seeds and now you're getting closer to the full moon,
Mhm.
which is usually after that 2-week period when you start to see wish fulfillment, blessings, celebrations. It's about joy, gratitude, releasing. It's not always ideal for manifesting, but honestly, there are all these baby witches on TikTok, and I'm sorry if you call yourself one. I don't mean it. I don't mean it negative, but a lot of people have gotten into spirituality, and I'm by no means a master of anything. There's so many different ways to go about this world and to do things. I have like this inner witch guide, whatever, that just scoffs when people try to apply rules to things or say
Yeah.
this is the order in which you do things, or this is what you have to say, this is what you have to do.
Mhm.
It's such a personal
It
experience.
absolutely is a personal experience. And if you don't trust your gut and trust your intuition and trust your feelings, you're going to trust Susie on TikTok. I mean,
Exactly.
come
Who are
on.
they? This
Yeah.
person got a book publishing deal. Still, who are they? Prove to me that you're manifesting what you're right? Like, and I don't want to be that kind of person. So it's just like, you do you. That's great. You put a resource out there for people who needed and wanted a
Mhm.
guide. But it's like what we're doing right now.
But I
We're
think
just
that
giving an
maybe when
overview.
you're first starting out, to just kind of follow
Yeah.
this and see how it feels in your body and,
Take what
your
fits.
heart, your gut. Yeah.
Yeah. But so for the full moon, like I said, not always ideal for manifesting, but some people might be like, this is my time. I'm feeling energized. Like,
Yeah.
go with it. But then as we go through this whole, it's kind of like a 28, 29-day cycle of the moon,
Just
um,
like our cycle.
just like our cycle.
Hmm.
But so as you start to lose the light from the full moon, then it's a waning gibbous, and it's time to continue that letting go, that opening up, that cleansing. Then it goes into the last quarter, the third quarter. So it's the transitioning, forgiveness, readjusting, and then
Yeah.
the waning crescents. You just have a little bit of a sliver left before the new moon comes back. And then you're resting, restoring, surrendering, and recuperating. I saw I saw somebody post a comment on either like a TikTok or an Instagram or something in response to instructions this past full moon eclipse
Yeah.
to let go what no longer serves you. And they said, if I hear that one more time, I'm gonna XYZ. And it was like, that sounds like a really good thing to let go.
Oh, that's so funny.
And it's so many people were like, how do I let this go? How do I do this?
Yeah.
And it's you have to recognize you're not in control of it, right?
Yeah.
So let's go back to the new moon. As you said earlier, clean slate, right?
Yeah.
So new moon, it's blank. So the actual new moon, according from National Geographic, so just the science of the existence of the moon and why it seems dark, is during this phase, the moon is between the Earth and the sun, which
Mhm.
means none of the lunar half we see is illuminated, and the moon becomes nearly invisible in the night sky. We can see this moon in this phase only during a solar eclipse. A new moon phases repeat approximately every 29.531 days. So that's why you can't see it. It's blocking the sun. It's between the earth and the sun. So when so for the new moon, this clean slate, it's about filling up with all that you want to be, right?
Yeah.
This
Yeah.
is a good time. I'm not really going to say to manifest because I feel like manifesting is whenever the heck you want to do it, but it's a good time to plant the seeds and your intentions, right?
Yeah.
Say what you want to have happen and say
Mhm.
what you're going to make have happen, right? Like what are you going to do? So typically, so this new moon on June 10th will fall in the zodiac sign of Gemini. And typically, or not typically, but often what you're planting during this new moon, while some things can come about in just one cycle of the moon, so just a month later, what they kind of say is what you're planting is for the 6 months after that
Yes. Yes.
in the full moon of the opposite sign.
Right.
So, right? Did I say that right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, in the new moon of the opposite sign, right? Or is it the full moon? Oh, no, you're right. It's the
It's the
full
full
moon because
moon.
it will be the
Full moon in
full,
the same sign.
it'll be
Full-
the Gemini full moon in Sagittarius.
There we go. That's what it is.
Yes.
In Sagittarius season, full moon in Gemini. Yes.
Woo!
6 months after the new moon. That's just all you got to remember. But so you can use that information if you follow the zodiac and stuff like
Mhm.
that. You can kind of use those energies too to kind of work within what they're known for and what they help with.
Yeah. So can we talk about that just a little tiny bit? Because
No.
I feel like, okay,
We
I'll be very
absolutely
quiet.
can.
I will
That was
not be a
terrible joke.
Gemini.
That's a terrible joke. What do you
I
want to talk
know.
about? So
No.
zodiac and
Well,
the moon.
Yeah, I want to talk about Gemini a little bit because Gemini is very much a talker, a communicator, very witty, very flirty, very,
Social. It's
very
also
social.
about other people and your connections and networking. too.
Yes. So perhaps I would almost use that information for a starting point with maybe what seeds you want to plant.
And that's funny because I do the opposite. So I start with what I know I want,
Yeah.
carry over from the prior new moon. And then I'm like, oh, what zodiac sign is there? And if I haven't already listed anything related to that, what is maybe missing? Or what do I
Nice.
want to correlate with that? Just
Yeah.
because it is stronger that I want to throw in there.
Nice.
Yeah. I love how
So
you
I
start with
think,
that, though.
yeah, well, no, I don't know that I start with that. This is the first time I ever even thought about
That
it.
thought.
Yeah, seriously, it is. It's the first time I thought about it, but I'm like, and I think I thought about it because Gemini is opposite my sign of
Because you're
Sagittarius.
yeah.
Exactly. But the funny thing is, even though we're opposites within the zodiac, Sagittarius and Gemini actually get along very well.
Mhm.
But this is the first time I thought about that. And there are times when I think, oh, I need to be a better communicator. Even though I think I'm good, I have a lot that I could get better at. So that's what I'm going to focus on, friends.
Ooh. So that's great that you say that because the new moon cycle or new moon phase, sorry, I'm going to try and get that right. The new moon phase is all about transformation, right? It's about allowing change. It's a fresh start, but it's the new moon. So allowing the new. And sometimes it starts with you, right? So like a new routine you're going to start on the new moon, right? Like it's a great time to start a new project, a new idea, a new ambition. It doesn't mean you can't continue working on what you have been, but if we're kind of going with the energy, this is a great time to be excited about stuff, right? So it's a great time to dive in and just get that great start and sketch out your plan so that you're ready to just hit the ground running with this energy.
I love it. Yeah. I feel like I don't know why, and some new moons I'm all in and I create, I set something in motion and then I actually kind of track it. And then like the next new moon, it's almost like, well, I already got this other thing going. So, sometimes we don't want you to be overwhelmed. So it could be just like, oh, a fresh start on what I already started maybe.
And it could, it can be a recommitment or rededication too.
Exactly.
Or
That's
I'm
kind
going
of what
to
I meant.
start
Yeah.
this next part of it, right?
Yes.
Because some projects
yes.
aren't going to be able to be completed in 29 days, right? Life gets in
Right.
the way. Some things are just much bigger. Sometimes they're much smaller than that, right? So you got to look at the
Mhm.
bigger picture of your year
Yeah.
too. But it's a great time, like, some people like to start things on the first of the month, first of the year, on a Monday, on this, on that. New moon's a great time to start, right? I have little mini New Year's every time the wheel of the year changes, like every 4 to 6 weeks. Let's start over every Monday at the start first of every month. And now like there's so many ways to just start things and the
Well,
universe is like, hey, I'm here for you.
exactly. I am here for you whenever you want to start something new. But it also reminds me too that it's a wonderful time to say, what needs to be filled in me, right? Where do I feel like depleted? Where do I feel less than? So what needs to be filled in me? And then just make that intention.
Yeah. I love that. What needs to be filled in me? Oh,
Yeah.
so beautiful. Thank you. I'm gonna have to listen to this episode and write that down. So for me, I mean, it's funny that you bring up that sometimes it's just too much to start another thing or like a reminder you didn't finish
Yeah.
what you started before or something like that. I find that I work with the phases of the moon from like the fall equinox to the spring equinox. As soon as it's more light than dark here, especially in the summer, I kind of feel like I lose my connection to the moon, right? Like
Oh,
that's
yeah.
not my way of doing things. I kind of feel like I more work with the power of the sun and get ready for the solstice and then the different cycles of the year. So again, like if you're not feeling it,
Yeah.
you're not feeling it. But typically because Instagram reminds me, I will at least do my new moon intentions, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
So there are a couple ways in which I've honored the new moon in the past. And it sounds like you have ways that you do it too. Um, like I said, honestly, if you forget it or you miss it, like do it anytime. The moon doesn't care. Um,
The
it's
moon
fine, just
cares
do it.
greatly, Tracy.
But like I said, so it's a way that you can write out your intentions. So some of the things that I have seen out there say that affirmations are best for the full moon in the 2 weeks after, and intentions are best for the new moon in the 2 weeks leading up to the full moon. So the way that they're kind of different, I know we've used them interchangeably, but like for an intention, like a really broad one to use is I am ready. I am
I
aligned.
love it.
I am overflowing with limitless potential. I open myself to my highest good. But then what I specifically do is I write out my desires as intentions on a
Okay.
beautiful piece of paper with beautiful
Mhm.
handwriting. So if you mess up, you got to write again. Yeah, if you tear it out of a notebook, you got to trim those edges, right? Like you have to revere it, right? But
Yeah.
then throughout those 2 weeks, I say, I am ready. And then I state that desire, right? So for me, that's how that intention is different than an affirmation. Because the affirmation, as
Okay.
you taught us, is like a state of being, right? It's like a feeling,
Right. Right.
like I
It's
am a
as if
blessed
you
daughter.
already are that
Yeah.
thing. Yeah.
Whereas
Mhm.
my intention is, it's kind of a reminder to myself and my universe of what I want, right? Of my desires, what I'm going to make happen, what I'm waiting to have happen, what I want
Yeah.
to gift me gloriously with little to no effort on my part.
All right. There does need to be some effort, everyone.
There does. But the moon and I are totally besties. La Luna.
Call me.
But so when you write out your intentions as desires, I always start it as with most of my intentions or like asks of the universe of I accept these things or something better into my life now for my highest good and the highest good of all concerned.
Love it.
So that's at the very top of my journal page.
Mhm.
Actually, I keep mine in a journal, and it's a pretty little journal, and it's just for my new moon
Yeah.
stuff and my full. So I'll start with like my new moon intentions, and then you'll turn the page, and it'll be my full moon. I'm
Okay,
releasing.
you're way more organized than I am. I'm
I'm
gonna
a
have to step
super
up my.
Virgo.
Oh, that's right. And I'm a Sagittarius. Tra-la-la. Um,
Hey, I
I,
have some like just freeballing scraps of paper where it's like, oh crap, it's the
yeah.
moon is new. What do I want in life?
Clearly, I'm gonna have to listen to this episode as well. One thing I want to just go back to because I always love it. I accept these things or something better. I always love to add that because then you're not limiting yourself to this one thing that you think you want when the universe is like, well, that's fine. We could have given you this other thing, but okay, here you
And
go.
that's why I also throw in for my highest good and the highest good of all concerned.
Yes.
Because sometimes the things we want aren't good for us. And
Right.
sometimes the universe will be like, okay, go learn that lesson again. And so that's why I'm like, hey, universe, no. Just there's an addendum. Only if it's for my highest good. I'm going to ask for it every 29.531 days, but only if it's in my highest good.
love it that you add two and the highest good of all concerned.
Exactly.
Yes, I love
I don't
that.
want, that's another way of saying and harm to none, right?
Right, right,
I don't want something I get to take away from someone else. Not that if you
right.
don't include it in there, it necessarily will, but I want to make sure. But so
Mhm.
I fill it in. So with desires, grand wishes, feeling states, but also I've heard to include little achievable things that you already know you're going to do, right? Or that you know is really
Oh yeah, that gives you that
just like,
feeling of accomplishment, and then
yeah, and
your
just
brain
shows
is
the
like,
universe,
oh,
here it
you can do
is.
these other things.
So like
Love
I
it.
want movie tickets to, movies on Friday. You have the technology, you have the money, you're going to go to the movies. That's cool. Just let the universe know like, hey, yeah, just formally assist me in that and then check when it's done. But like you said, so try not to limit or direct the universe. So my example is I call in my perfect partner who meets my emotional, physical, mental, social needs versus I call in Carl from accounting, right? like, like I
All
get
names have been changed.
I get that you got a crush. I get that you want to feel an intimate relationship with somebody else, but just like one, you can't force other people, manifest other people into your life, but you can tell the
Mhm.
universe, hey, I'm ready and this is what I want. Like, what do you think Carl in accounting is going to give you? What's
Yeah.
the feeling state? And then maybe whoever else is also trying to manifest that. That's how you
Yeah.
meet each other. And then you get your perfect partner and not some guy who's going to ghost you in 3 weeks, right?
Right.
Amy's just
Well, honestly, and also maybe it's not a person, maybe it's something else,
Mhm.
and it wouldn't have been that good for you.
Exactly. So my example, and we'll talk about it more in our next episode, but my lease was up and I knew I didn't want to stay where I was. Um, but I didn't have like a dream home in mind. I didn't have a specific apartment in mind. I didn't have something that was like for sale or for rent. And I just said, universe, look, by this date, I want a home that fits my emotional, physical, social, blah, 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 blah needs. That's all I want. And boy, did it deliver.
Yeah.
And had I said, like, oh God, I want this one house in Minnetonka, like that wasn't achievable in 48 days. Like,
No,
just,
remember, dude, let's just go back to like episode, I don't know, 2 or something, where I wish to live by the ocean, right? I was like,
mhm.
I I wish to live by the ocean. I'm 14 years old. I throw the penny in the water. I've made the wish. And then like 6 months later, we're gonna move to Rhode Island. I'm like, no, not now. I meant when I
Not that
was grown up.
ocean.
Yeah, Rhode Island. Of course, now it's completely different.
It's
So,
the perfect beach town, Amy. I don't
oh
know why you were
no, it
disappointed.
actually is the perfect beach town, but just to make a point.
Right. But so then in this list, write things as if it happened. So instead of I want to lose 10 pounds, say I have a fit and able body.
Yeah.
Right. So something like that. And then also don't start from lack. So you're calling in financial
Mm.
abundance, not I want to be debt free. You want to
Yeah,
be
I don't want to
healthy.
be sick anymore. I
Yes.
don't, you don't do that. I am healthy
I am
is
vibrant. Like, what does being healthy
yes, I
mean?
am
What
full
are
of
you
life.
lacking?
I am
Full
vibrant.
energy.
Yes.
So try, as with everything, the more you think about the lack and the negative, that's calling that in. So
Yeah.
try and flip it. What is it that you actually want to replace that with? But then for me, so I know you love to burn things and you absolutely can. If that's how you talk to the universe, if that's how you send things out into the
That's
ether.
when I'm releasing things.
Well, some people
Yeah.
just like to have burn ceremonies for anything, which it's
Yeah.
you and
I
your
like a good
practice.
fire. Yeah.
Yeah, but so I place mine with reverence on an altar or a special place. Whereas some things I like origami it into like a heart or a special shape to leave it there. This is
Okay,
something
you're blowing my mind, Tracy. Why have you never told me this?
because I have to YouTube how to origami every single time.
No, but seriously, okay, game on.
Yeah, game on.
Wow. Just wait,
But so
universe.
what I do with this one is, well, like I said, I have it in a journal, but then I've also like I leave that open Or if I do tear it out, I put that somewhere on the altar where I can see it and read it and remember it, right? It's kind of
Okay,
like the
but if you
secret.
don't tear it out, you leave your notebook open just like anywhere or in a specific place.
Well, I live alone, so yeah, I leave it anywhere.
Okay.
You want it somewhere safe, right? Like, and
Yeah.
only around people or things that, will also revere it or
Yeah.
won't bring negativity to it. I have a little ribbon in it, so sometimes too, I just know I can turn back
Nice.
to it. But you have to revisit these things to remind yourself what it is that you're calling in, what you're trying to fill up with. Um, some people, as you receive the things on your list, they rewrite the list. Like, you're not allowed to cross it out, no chicken scratch, right? Like, we want this a beautiful list. Some people rewrite it and then you can add more things or you can leave it. I don't do that. I wait until the next new moon and then I edit the list. And then I just kind of tell the universe, like, all that other stuff still applies. Like, even if, like, I might have too many things because to keep it beautiful, I just keep mine to the one page. You don't have to. You could fill the notebook, right? It's the universe. It has the limit does not exist. But so I just kind of say, like, hey, copy paste. That where that still applies, but now there's some other stuff I also want to focus on. You pick, but like
I'll be happy with anything, but everything would be
they're not
fabulous.
rated, they're not ranked. Like, this is just the order in which it came when I wrote
Yeah.
down.
Yeah.
It's really a horizontal, yeah. But so, and then, like I said, just rewrite your list every new moon. And then be patient. Time is a social construct the universe does not abide by. So we might say a moon cycle of, about a month or 6 months from that new moon to the next full moon in that sign. Just let it go. Just be like, hey, universe, here it is. I'm going to read it so that I also remember and can take advantage of the signs and opportunities you give me. But like, just, it
Yeah.
happens when it happens, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Is there anything you do like that?
So I have written things down, and I will say that what used to happen is at the new moon, I'd write things down, my new moon intention, right? And then I totally forget about it. And then
I do that.
the 6 months later, I'd be like, did it happen? What did I write down? So now I I make the intention and then I go 6 months, like I make sure that I write down the date and then I revisit it. So that's all I'm doing, but it's
Yeah.
still a work in progress.
In a perfect cycle, I review these. It's a best practice. It's a
Yeah.
reminder. I can't tell you, Amy, the amount of times that I've founded a piece that I like tore out or that I wrote on
Yeah.
something else. And I was like, oh, I do want that. Like,
No, seriously,
I
more
just
times than
that.
I care to admit.
And then
Yeah.
sometimes it gets kind of depressing and sad. Like, universe, I've been asking for this for like 7 years. Man, I gotta edit this. I gotta think, like, do I really want it?
Yeah.
Like, do I just have to continue to be patient, or is this like just not for me? Or was I
That's a
like,
really good point. Do I really want it? Is it not for me? But
but then the human part of me goes, no, the universe had you find this so that you would remanifest it at this new moon.
100%.
Enabler.
Yeah. Yeah.
But yeah, so just like you said, like, what did you say before? All the things you want to be filled with or cast light on, like,
Oh, right.
it's a great
Right.
time to write that down. Even
Yeah.
if the universe is just like wrong number, thanks. Like, you can
So,
still see what you wanted.
yes, I will say the other thing I love to do is I love to do like an Epsom salt or a pink Himalayan salt
Yeah.
with, essential oils, and I light all the candles and there's no overhead lights on and fill the bathtub and have my journal. And it's just a time to reflect and soak and like try and just feel the magic all around me.
Oh, I love that. Because I mean, what is the new moon if not just like a monthly, space for you to just be like, hey, what do I want in life?
Yeah.
It's like, this is my me day. We're all
Yeah.
having a me day. It is a new moon.
I love that. A me day.
A
It
me day. A
is.
me moon day.
Yeah.
Moon and me day.
Yeah.
I love that. Yeah. So sacred baths. So just any bath with an intention. So even if you don't have all the extras that you talk about, but like
Mhm.
essential oils, they're You're the essential oil guru. Like, are there any that
Well,
come
if
to
you're going
mind
to
for the
use
new moon?
essential, yeah, if you're going to use essential oils, though, you do have to mix them with either Epsom salts or Himalayan salts or, sea salt first. You start the water, then you mix it up in the salt, then you pour that into the running water. Otherwise, your essential oils are just going to be hanging out on top of the water. But as far as a specific oil, um, I literally, it's like, what was that? My big fat Greek wedding where they use Windex on everything. It's like, if you don't know what to use, you use lavender. And lavender is a wonderful, like, me time type of thing. It is, I think of intuition when I think of lavender. But if it's too, it's not too sweet, but if you feel like it's too sweet, you could use anything. You could use lemon or orange. Because it's mixed with the salt, it's going to
Invigorating.
be
Yeah.
fine. Yes,
Yeah.
whatever calls to you.
Yeah, so
Yeah.
I'm allergic to a lot of fragrances. So there are
Yes.
some like fruitier ones I do better with, but I feel like as with most things, if you do it with intention, that's all that
Hmm.
matters, right?
Yeah. And you could even, if say you don't want to put it in your bath, you just have it open next to you and
Yeah.
just smell it. I mean,
Burn a
yeah.
candle. Yeah.
Yeah.
So one of the things I like to do, since I can't do some of the things with the essential oils or the herbs that a lot of them recommend, is I like to visualize like the energy of the water sparkling and sinking into my body, like just like
Oh,
new moon, like we're gonna start filling with light and energy. Let's just like picture all of this like coming in now.
that's brilliant. I love that.
Yeah.
Yes.
One thing
Yes.
I haven't done it for a really long time. I just did it for the first time this past May with the new moon. Have you heard of new moon abundance checks?
No, I haven't heard of new moon abundance checks. I've
Oh,
heard of like universe checks
same
to
thing.
just like any time, but I did not. I've never heard of them connected with the new moon. Tell
Yeah,
me about
so
that.
the first time I heard about it, or like probably like the most prominent or biggest well-known story is Jim Carrey wrote himself a check for like $1 or $2 million and
Yeah,
like
I
put it
did
away,
hear
right?
about that. Hmm.
Yeah. So he was really big into kind of manifesting and visualizing and like creating this physical, tangible representation of what the world was the universe was going to give him,
Yeah,
right?
and this is before he was
Before anything, right? Like
anything.
I don't even think
Yeah,
he was on In Living Color yet. Like he
yeah.
was broke and he just wrote this check to himself. So I have found online there are so many different templates for new moon abundance checks. Sometimes if I can't find mine, I just draw it. I can't even tell you where my real life checkbook is because I haven't had to write a
Who
check in
use
like 5
checks
years, right?
now?
Yeah,
Right?
I have to send a check to the city in which I live in, and I think I have to go to the bank and say, "Hi, can you please print me a check?" Right? Like I'm not going to pay for that. But I am of the generation that's how I used to pay rent, and in middle school they taught us how to write in a pretend checkbook, and so you draw out a check. And so within 24 hours before after the new moon, prepare a check. On the name or pay to line, you write your full name. You leave the date line blank, right? You're not setting a time for this.
Okay.
For the dollar amount, you write paid in full. And you do that both in the little box as well as the line where you can write out the dollar amount. And then on the signature line, you write the law of abundance. And then you put the check away in a safe place and you forget about it. And it's
But
just,
you don't put an amount?
nope, you put paid in full because the check may be cash for non-monetary abundance. You don't want to universe, it'll
Oh.
avoid it. You want to accept whatever it's going to give you. Abundance can come in any way, shape, or form.
Oh, okay, okay. Because
So
I,
if you want to manifest money, you can write a check, like you said, any point in time, anyway, with the universe check and be
yeah,
like, I want this. For the new moon abundance stuff, the majority of the things that I want and my intentions are not financially related. They're just
yeah.
not, right? I mean, I
Hmm.
would love to be fully taken care of and able to take care of my friends and family. But like, I also want to feel loved. I want to feel healthy. I want to feel vibrant. Like, I try to do more feeling states. Like, to me, I want to be abundantly healthy. I want to be,
Yeah, yeah.
right? Like, I want to be prosperous and abundant in love too.
Right.
But yeah, so I like how they just say paid in full because that could mean anything. You're just
Hmm.
filling yourself up.
Yeah, yeah.
But yeah, so I printed out when I first heard of this, I printed out a couple different templates and I have them in a little file folder. And then the months where I remember it is the months where I was like, oh, the universe wants me to pay them or pay me or what. I like, let's make this.
Oh yeah, I'm totally doing an abundance check this new moon. Yeah, yeah,
Do
absolutely.
you ever do tarot card readings specific to
Oh, well, of course I do. Why didn't I think of that? Like constantly. Goodness gracious. Yes.
there's specific questions you ask? I tend to, so I follow a couple different tarot card readers on
Mhm.
Instagram and Pinterest and just put like new moon tarot spread. And usually
Mhm.
in the zodiac sign or the time of year or what's going on, they'll have a spread. But most of the time, I'm just like, hey, what do I need to know?
Right. And a lot of the time, sometimes it's even easier for me just to do like a 3-card pull with like,
Mm.
what do I need to know? Or what's in my best interest? Or what do I need to work on? Or whatever. Instead of, because sometimes the questions, it's like, those aren't questions I might not ask those questions. And
Sure.
I don't know. So
Well, and sometimes, so for the new moon, I would imagine something along the lines of like, what's coming in? What should I prepare for?
yeah, yeah.
How can I best take advantage of these energies? Whereas for the full moon, what needs to be released? What has already been
Mhm.
released? What am I fighting releasing?
Mhm.
Something more in line with letting go.
Yeah. Yeah.
Love
Exactly.
that. And then, so we've both talked a little bit, I think, today about journaling, but like specifically for the new moon, I'd say um, there are a couple different people I follow, like the Cosmic Calling or Soulshine Astrology. She has one's her
Mhm.
podcast name, one's her like Instagram and website name, but she will post questions to ask yourself
I like
in
her
accordance with
questions.
the moon
Yeah.
phase and the zodiac.
Yeah.
So kind of common for Gemini, like you said earlier. So it's an air sign. Communication is key. So what message would you like to share with the world? How can you connect with others? How can you improve your communication?
Nice.
Those are,
Mhm.
but then also just because it's a new moon, what are my goals, right? Like you can ask the universe for all this stuff, but if you don't have a plan in place, if your routine doesn't support it, the universe might be like, thank you, next please. Like you want to create a life that shows you're ready for it and that you're willing to work for it too,
Mhm.
right? You can't just be like, I want to lose 150 pounds and then sit on your couch for all of quarantine. Like,
Right. No, seriously. Like everyone.
um, yeah. And then I've also seen, I think I saw this on Pinterest. It doesn't have an author to it, so I can't attribute it to anybody, but there's a new moon prayer um, that just, it's, I welcome transformation. I welcome
Mhm.
growth. I welcome abundance. I know what I need. I am ready.
Ooh.
Right. So that's
So
what,
that does need a little bit, like you do need to know some things before you put that out into the universe. Because otherwise the universe might go, do you actually? Here, let me show you
and
this
just
thing.
like, and sometimes welcoming growth isn't just here's $1 million. Sometimes welcoming
No.
growth is like, oh, this perfect job for me just appeared. I have to apply for it. I have to update my resume. I have to get ready to interview. I have to go interview. I potentially have to leave a job I currently love, but there's no growth at, right? So like if you say you're ready for growth, sometimes that's a tower moment, right? The tower's
Well,
not always
yeah,
right?
growth is not necessarily comfortable. Growth, in fact, I would say is never comfortable,
Same with
and it shouldn't be
transformation.
comfortable.
Right. And I think we've talked about this before, but Nicole Nardoni once told me, like, with transformation, like a butterfly, a caterpillar turning into a butterfly, you
Yeah,
have to turn to goo,
yeah,
right?
yeah,
Like, you completely, the caterpillar completely loses its form and then becomes this beautiful butterfly.
yeah.
And so, yeah, when you're welcoming abundance, sometimes with that comes loss, that which no longer serves you is just naturally
Right,
removed from your path.
right. Hmm.
But so with all this, like you can either just kind of cherry pick and do stuff here or there like I do, but you could make a ceremony out of all of these things, right? So on the day of the new moon, your moon and
Hmm.
me day, you can set your sacred space, cleanse your area with
All I
ethical
can think of is
flowers,
mommy and me. Sorry.
mommy and me.
So now it's moon and me.
Moon and
Moon
me.
and me day. Love it. Hmm.
Yeah, so set your sacred space. And unlike the full moon, you don't necessarily have to see the new moon, right? Like a lot of the stuff with the full moon is about absorbing the light of the moon. This is a dark
Hmm.
moon, right? So you can kind of do it anywhere. So
Yes.
cleanse it. You can light a candle, write out your manifestations,
Hmm.
read that list to yourself or just to the universe. Then you can really just visualize and sit and picture while in your bath receiving these things. How will it feel? What will it look like? What will look different in your life? And then just kind of meditate in that emotional state. And then extend that gratitude, right? Like everything with thanks.
Yes.
And then get out of your bath and make a vision board, right? Like make a night of this. Write your checks and then just rest with intention and just kind of your energy is going to start to build. And so following the new moon, like just start working towards your goals and your dreams.
Yeah.
Like you said, you don't, sometimes it's exhausting, right? So pick a baby thing, pick a medium thing, pick a big thing, just kind of be
Hmm.
intentional with how you're going to spend your energy. You can't do it all in a day, right? But yeah. So those are all the different ways I had for celebrating the moon.
I love it. And I can't wait to start for this new moon. And I feel like it feels so perfect that with the new moon in Gemini, that we're actually communicating about the new moon in Gemini. That just came to me. And so I think it's a perfect start for, our moon talks, right? To be talking about the new moon in Gemini, because
Oh my
Gemini is a
gosh.
talker. Yeah.
Amy, every sidebar, everybody else just it's just for Amy and I. We planned to have a check-in in early June for we've already talked about what we want the episodes to be for the second half of the year,
Mhm.
but we are going to talk about our marketing plan, our communication plan
Oh my
in
gosh,
Gemini.
it's perfect. Oh, sorry,
Oh,
everyone. Oh my gosh.
look at you making these connections. But see, that just shows that, like, even if you don't follow the zodiac, even if you don't follow the moon, if you were to just kind of look at and take stock of a 30-day period of your life with this
Yes.
awareness, a lot of this, hippy dippy stuff we talk about, it's
Mhm.
amazing how many people naturally fall into this, right?
And sometimes, obviously, it's easier to look back and go, "Oh, wow, that's right. That's why it felt like that then, or that's why I was feeling those ways or wanted to do those things." Is
Yeah,
because
because
astrologically, this is what was happening.
exactly. And so like and then things tend to flow as a collective together because we're all going through this
Yes.
experience. And so if you're noticing a lot of tension in your life, a lot of roadblocks, like what are you doing that's against these natural cycles, right?
Yeah.
If you feel your life is going where it needs to go, then end the episode here. You're great. Good job. Thank you. Like come back when you have some problems to work through. But if you're noticing stuff just isn't going your way, your manifestations aren't going anywhere, your intentions aren't going anywhere, life feels hard, you're tired, when you start projects, things just kind of fall off.
Yeah.
Look at these cycles, right? And see, like maybe I'm trying to start things during the full moon because I feel that energy, right? Like the full moon, you have a bunch of energy because it's all this light. But then a couple days after the full moon is when we start to lose the light, we start to lose the energy.
Remember Amy's story of just like, "Oh, I'm just like done." I just, it felt like everything was out of me, right? It just had been sucked out of me. So, yeah, let's start it.
Yeah.
June 10th. It's our day.
That's our day. Perfect.
Mhm.
Well, so if anybody's on Instagram, you might get to see this on a story if you follow us on Tarot Tuesday. So
Yeah.
when I pull my cards, sometimes they align so perfectly with the episode. I'm like, nobody's going to believe me. They're going to think I stacked my deck, right? So I really, really, really wanted the moon card today
Yeah. Yeah.
because I'm unoriginal and like I don't know enough about the tarot to
That's
see
not
like what's the
unoriginal.
underlying things of the new moon. Like there's so many cards that could relate to beginnings and fresh starts. Like an ace card would have just have been as
Yeah.
welcome, but
The Fool, right? Yeah.
right, like all these beginnings. But so I really, really, really wanted the moon card, and I was like, oh God, if I get it, no one will believe me. So I recorded myself. And I got the star card, which is just one away from the moon card
Exactly.
numerically. Um, ironically, the moon card was just two more down in the deck. I checked. That's also on tape. So the
So
universe,
funny.
Tracy. We get it. Like there's even so then the whole reason why you saw me be like, well, where's the moon card? Is I was like, Oh, you know what? I was so concerned with recording it and with saying I want the moon card. I didn't actually ask a question. I'm gonna do it again and ask the question. And you know what,
Oh,
Amy, what do you know what card came out? I bet you can guess what card came out for me.
for you, the
Yeah,
7 of Cups.
the 7 of Cups. Tracy, just make a choice, damn it. We told you what you wanted, like, or we told you what you needed to hear. You
I
don't get
love
to
it.
pick and choose. The universe does. Anytime I go in with like what I want, it's always like, no, you have so many other options. You have so many, no. But so the star card is a very beautiful and it's a lovely card to get any other time. But we'll
Yeah,
just
so
see
it
her.
is, it's lovely. It's a woman with 2 jugs pouring water out. Well, there's a huge star up in the sky, right? And then there are all together, there are, wait, 9 stars? No,
There's 7 little stars and one big star.
7 little stars and 1 large star. But when I look at the star card today, I was thinking, or I said to Tracy, it's as if, so she's pouring some of the water back into the water and some of the water into the earth. And I said, it's as if she's pouring into herself and into others. The other thing that came to me just a little bit ago is like planting her seeds and watering them.
Look at you making connections.
Oh, yeah.
So, from the Biddy Tarot book, kind of my go-to source, um, it it says it's about renewal and spirituality. And while I
Perfect.
don't see that when I look at it, it makes so much sense for the new moon. Like you're renewing
No, I
your
see
intention for
renewal.
yourself.
Yeah, absolutely.
And it talks about how it's magic is flowing around you, anything is possible. So don't limit yourself, don't limit the universe.
Love it.
Fill yourself with hope. Like
This or something better.
is there something better? So the universe
Yeah.
gave us a beautiful card. Thank you, universe.
Yes. Yes. There you go.
So with that,
Yeah.
what are we going to talk about next? Because this kind
Oh,
of just flow. Talk about flowing. Where are
no.
we flowing to?
Oh my gosh. So we're going to talk, we're going to revisit the wheel of the year, and the solstice is coming. The solstice is coming. It's almost here. Oh my gosh. So summer solstice, also known as Letha, is on June 20th. And we are going to be talking all things solstice and probably like things you can do to honor that and rituals around that.
And this is for the northern hemisphere. So if you're in the southern
Yes.
hemisphere, you are going through the winter solstice, which is equally magical. And that was one of our very first episodes, I believe.
It
So
was our first episode.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, we posted
we
it
talked about
on,
it. Yeah.
yes, and we posted it on the winter solstice. So it was perfect. I love it.
Oh, I'm so excited. I absolutely love that day because, like I said, this time of year for me, I'm just filling up with so much of that energy and that
Yeah.
sun. Just fill.
Yeah.
And the solstice is a great time to manifest. So it's
Yes.
exciting. Oh, I'm looking
Yes.
forward to it. Well, if this episode today spoke to your soul, please share it with a friend. And if you have time, give us some love on your preferred platform with a rate, review, and subscribe. You can also reach out to us via Instagram and YouTube under The Brightly Podcast or via email at brightlypodcast@gmail.com.
Yay. And with that, we hope you have a bright and beautiful day. Bye.
Bye.